How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. My coffee tastes good. It's always a nice thing.
Yeah. So, how are things?
They're good.
It's a little weird to be having a conversation with a guy whose YouTube videos you've been watching for like a year and a half or something. So, anyways, I suddenly can't remember how my folder structure is organized. Reaper projects. There we go. Sheesh. It's like when you're trying to do math and someone's over your shoulder. Suddenly I'm like, he's going to judge me for how I use Reaper. It's so stupid.
Try not to count on your fingers when someone's looking.
Yeah. Mic 3 testing. Okay, cool.
Yes, I always judge people on how they use Reaper.
I had a feeling. You seem like an elitist prick. No.
You're not my real dad.
Oh man.
Do people yell that at the show?
I hear that joke too many times. But actually this last show, yes, someone did yell it. And oh man, like I don't want to like brag, but I parlayed it into the greatest what hold on, sorry. Okay, now I'm recording. All right. Oh, it's pre-roll. Okay. All right, now it's recording. All right. Anyways, like in my newsletter and stuff, like I open up my newsletter with all, like I know this is awkward and stuff, and I've practiced the whole what a stepdad speech would be many times, and so I basically just whipped that out and spoke to her from the stage, and the crowd just absolutely ate it up. And then for the next song, I dedicated it to her mom, who her dad no longer can please. So and and so the crowd was and yeah, it was great. And actually later she talked to me after the show, and she was from the local college newspaper, and she was planning on writing an article about the show. But then she told me that she like had a stepdad, and yeah, it was just kind of funny. I told her, well, I'm glad I could help you work through some of your issues. And,
it is odd that a reporter would heckle you.
Yeah, well, she's a college reporter, so but she was having fun, so that's cool. I'm cool. Fine with that. I don't mind a heckle as long as it's it paid off for me very well, so I won't complain too much.
Colby Heiss asked me to ask you, what are your favorite synths?
First, that's awesome that people are asking you to ask me things. Synth 1, as I said earlier, I love Synth 1. And then I also, I'll just pull up my synth list here. So I love Synth 1, I use on like everything. And then OPX Pro 2, I use a lot. It's a great Oberheim knockoff that just sounds absolutely fantastic. And those are honestly the two I use the most. PG8X is cool for basses and stuff. I've not played with it enough, really. Everybody loves LX, which is a Juno 60. I guess it's wrong to say ripoff, but whatever. Togue Audio Line, I love those guys. One of my favorite reverbs is their free reverb number 4. I love that thing. I just think it sounds great. I actually bought Valhalla Vintage Verb, which is very popular amongst the synthwave scene, but I still use Reverb 4 a lot because I like the way it sounds. I'm very cheap, but anyways. But honestly, those are the ones I use the most. I just recently got FM8 for some FM sounds. I activated it on my laptop. I still need to activate it here, I guess. Anyways, that's embarrassing. Those are my favorites, really. Cool. I have some UVI stuff, but I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the
digital sensations bundle.
Yeah. That's how I got it. Well, their marketing was perfect. That's how I got into using them. Was they gave away this one for like $1 or something.
Yeah.
And then later I bought Darklight, which has some cool sounds on it. I don't know. For some reason I don't like the Rompler thing. I really like to have full control over my synths.
Yep. I got that one too. I like it. I find the interface kind of clunky.
Yeah.
But also, I'm trying to put like 6 different patches into one interface, and then I do like feedback routing and Reaper and stuff like that to
Yeah,
to
you're
get
a
it
lot more
and-
creative than I am.
But like it becomes a pain. Instead of just using like 6 different tracks, I end up, I might use 8 tracks to do that instead of like 16 tracks. But like if I was doing separate MIDI in and audio outputs, you can do it all with feedback routing. But then you run into latency issues sometimes where it's not compensating correctly. Yeah. But since one's great, I use that as well. I think it's a hard one to learn for some reason. The layout is very weird.
Yeah, I found a YouTube video when I first learning, synths. I was like, okay, this one seems to be popular. I'll just try and learn every knob on it. And there's a YouTube video out there where a dude literally goes, so this is the sine button, and this is detune, and it does this. And he walks through every single knob. It's boring as hell, but it's also great because that's how I figured out how it works. And yeah, I know a lot of people are like, I can't figure out the way it works, but I guess because I watched that video, it makes sense to me now. So I don't know, it's kind of a top-down thing, but
I just found some good sound banks and I just browsed.
Oh sure, yeah. There's a lot of sound
there's
banks.
There's thousands of them.
Yeah. I got all of them, but yeah, it's terrifying, but it works. And really, I mean, I think pretty much anybody just loves the synth that they know how to use the best, because if you can make it do what you want to do, then you're gonna like it. So that's pretty much of it. Because that's like on the opposite end is the OPX Pro 2, which sounds great, but this interface drives me insane. There's so many like tiny little things, and I can't tell what they are. And yeah, it's just like, what? Like, I love it. It sounds so great, but when I want to try and like make something like my own sound with it, I just feel completely lost. And I'm like, I understand these concepts. Why can't I get it out into the synth? But it sounds good, and again, it also has very good preset banks. So, Yeah.
You can always default back to
presets,
those.
Man.
How do you feel about hardware synths?
I hate them. No. The biggest reason that I've never gotten into hardware is because, again, I'm really cheap. And second, I share my studio, if you will, with my children's playroom. So I don't have room for hardware either. With this whole going live thing, I forayed into hardware for my drum sampler, which is an EMU ESI 32. It's pretty old. It's cool, and it's actually really easy to sample with, but it's still a huge pain in the ass. Like, the thing that just kills me is, when you turn it off, it empties itself out. Like, it has no static memory. So once you power it down, it's gone. And so when you power it back up, you got to start throwing in floppy disks and reloading sounds. And that just drives me crazy, because the thing that I hate the most is I go to a gig and I plug this thing in, and the first thing I have to do is throw floppy disks and start loading stuff. Because if anything goes wrong, you don't have drums. Like, that just terrifies me. Of course, I could spend some money and get a better like hardware sampler, but again, I'm cheap. So Craigslist and old samplers. I mean, it's always cool to turn a physical knob. I mean, it's not like I'm not above going to Guitar Center and just sitting and playing with their synths for longer than they want me to. But then I go home and I pat my laptop on the head, and I love the fact that I can just pull up presets and save presets and open up whole sessions, and everything's just where it was when I left it. And so hardware's great, but I don't know. I've never been much of an audiophile, so like the whole analog sounds better thing is like fine, sure, but 99.9% of my audience won't really care. I made a joke several months ago on Twitter about how, taking the joke on the CrossFit people, how do you know if someone is in CrossFit? Don't worry, they'll let you know. I said, how do you know if someone uses hardware? Oh, don't worry, they'll let you know. Because hardware people are always very proud. But anyways, yeah.
Well, it's good that you bring up Twitter, because you're actually, I would say you're pretty good at social media. Your newsletter and Twitter is great, and you have a really fun kind of brand around your music. So I think you do a really good job with that. And I don't know, maybe you have some advice for musicians kind of trying to figure out social media.
Oh no.
Any ideas?
No.
You don't have to.
No, the worst thing you can do is ask me about promotion, because I will start talking for 3.5 hours. Yeah, well, I'll try and give the brief version. I think Twitter is great because everywhere else they regulate what people see. You know, you post on Facebook. Like, a lot of people don't know, if you have a page on Facebook, like I have Vampire Stepdad page on Facebook, and I have, I don't know, some amount of 300 likes or something like that. When I post something on my Facebook page, it only goes out to like 20 people. So even though 300 some people have liked my page, only like 20 of them see it. And then if you like that and you comment or something, then Facebook will start sharing it with more people, et cetera, et cetera.
But liking your own post, come on, like that's really bad.
Have I done that?
No. I mean,
no. Okay. Well,
no, but okay. Don't do that, because it just looks bad. Well, and I don't think it's very. I don't think it'd be very effective, because Facebook, I'm sure, will be like, oh, well, it's just him liking his own post. So yeah, but you see that, you see someone,
sure,
post and then like their own
hey, man,
or whatever.
You gotta be proud of your own work.
I mean, you wouldn't post it if you didn't like it yourself.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's actually one of the reasons why I stopped asking people to like my page, was because I figured out that if people aren't interacting with your posts, then Facebook will hide it from more people. So if someone's just like, oh yeah, I knew this guy in high school, so I guess I'll like his band page or whatever. If they don't actually like your music and they don't interact, that's going to make you look worse to Facebook, and Facebook's going to share your stuff less.
Yeah. Yeah, don't spam your friends on Facebook, sure, to get them to like your page.
Well, actually, yeah. I'd say my biggest recommendation to artists that are trying to grow their fan base is, don't look to your friends to support you. Don't look to other in my case, I'm a bedroom producer. 95% of the rest of the synthwave community is guys in their bedrooms, whatever. And we're all trying to get each other's attention. And it's kind of like, who cares about other artists? Don't worry about them. They're not going to support you because they're busy trying to scrounge together money to support their own music habit. So you got to go out and find people who are listening to the music. Oh, the worst is the passive aggressive post on Facebook where you're like, well, I've seen some of my friends haven't liked my music page. Thanks for the support, guys. It's like, that's not what you want. You don't want to guilt people into liking your Facebook page. That doesn't help you at all. Like let's say you guilt 100 people into thing, and then you look and you've got 200 likes, and you're like, oh, well, but half of those aren't people who actually like my music. And then for the rest of time, you have no idea how many people were guilted into liking your face page, or other producers who liked your Facebook page in hopes that you'll like their Facebook page. And it's just like playing the whole numbers game and stuff. You'll kill yourself.
Yeah, pretty much everything about Facebook is terrible.
Yeah. I'll hop on that bandwagon.
I do like Twitter, even though it's not really a good traffic source for myself, for the blog. But I find that I have the best interactions there. Yeah.
I mean, it's you can definitely have the best thing about Twitter is that now, granted, if I'm one of 2,000 people that someone's following, the likelihood that they'll see what I post is less. But I do know that my post is going into their feed.
Yeah.
They may miss it, but at least it's going there. Yeah. Unlike Instagram. That's actually why my original first push was on Instagram. I was really big into Instagram because they would show everything to everybody. But then Facebook bought them and they stopped doing that, and they made it more like Facebook.
They turned it into the worst network.
Yeah.
From the best. They turned it from the best network to the worst in overnight. So.
Yeah, they're good at that. That's the thing that I like the most about Twitter, is that I know that if I tweet it, everyone who follows me, it will go in their feed. They may not see it, but that's fine, because another upside of Twitter is you can kind of say the same thing multiple times and most people won't care. If I announce that I put out a new video 4 times in one day, people aren't going to be like, we get it already. Because it's Twitter and it's so fast moving, most people are kind of like, oh yeah, he's doing that video. Maybe I should retweet it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to forget about stuff. Sometimes you see it at the wrong time.
Yeah, and different people check it through different parts of the day and whatever. But the biggest thing about Twitter is anyone that follows you, you can DM them. And so when new people follow me, I DM them and I say, hey, how you doing? You like synthwave? And we chat. And I've met a lot of awesome people that way. And some people are kind of like, are you just going to throw me a music link? And I generally say, not unless you let me, because I hate it when people, just throw a link at your face and they go, hey, check out my new music. In Twitter general, that's not so terrible. But if you DM somebody straight out of the gate a link to your music, don't do that. That sucks. That's the worst in the world. But what I generally do is I chat with people and I ask them how long they've been listening and who are some of their favorite artists and blah, blah, blah. And then I said, well, if you like those dudes, you might like me. Can I send you a link? And I'd say 80% of the time people are like, yeah, sure, thanks.
Have they already followed you on Twitter at that point? I think I said.
Yeah. But some people like them. Some people will just go and follow random people. Sometimes I have a funny tweet that people have retweeted and people follow me because they think I'm silly, or some people are just into horror, so they saw Vampire Stepdad right. And they're like, oh, vampires.
Yeah, some people will follow you, but they don't know about your music. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And plus, it's a way, even if they do know about me and my music, that's even better, because then they know my music and apparently they like my music, and now I'm talking to them and I'm developing a relationship with them. And I've met some awesome people, a lot of artists out there who want to make art. I have a guy, just yesterday I posted a video for Green Berets for Breakfast Redux that someone I met on Twitter edited for me, Kelvin Kurosaki. He was just like, hey, I like to edit videos and I like your music. Can I make a video for it? It's like, sure. And that was awesome. And I've met, plenty of other artists. And actually, when I was trying to figure out how to play live, I spoke with a few different Volcore X and Night Stalker and D-Notive. A couple of them I met on Facebook and some I met on Twitter. And it's just a great way to network, I mean, it's not for everybody. Some people hate it. And there's obviously some terrible stuff on Twitter, but it's kind of, it is what you make of it. Make yourself some lists and follow people you're interested in and talk to them. It's fun. Sometimes I feel like I promote, a lot of times I promote more than I make music, but occasionally I have to remind myself to make music because I'm too busy being on Twitter. I unfortunately enjoy promotion a little too much. Which, pays off, I guess. But again, I have to remind myself to make music. So, but cool. Yeah.